Hi guys, welcome to Garage Football. Does Unai Emery have to change his tactics? And is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the right man for Man United going forward? We're going to discuss West Ham versus Arsenal and Tottenham versus Man United. So Bill, as a West Ham fan, I'm sure you're happy. As an Arsenal fan, I'm unhappy. What's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, very happy, mate. Yeah, you're right. Being a West Ham fan, very delighted with the result and the performance as well. I think we thoroughly deserved it, I have to say. Not being biased or anything, but I think any neutral watching the game on Sky Sports or seeing the highlights of Match of the Day,
Yeah.
I think they'd say the same thing, to be honest with you. It was only 1-0, but it could easily have been 2 or 3-0. They wouldn't have flattered West Ham whatsoever, really. Had a number of chances. Yes, Arsenal had a couple of chances, but in general play, I think West Ham deserved the 3 points. Another good win against the top 6 team. We had that against Man United earlier in the season. But good to play well against Arsenal. We haven't won at home against them since 2006. And our record against Arsenal has been pretty ropey these last few years. But so from that perspective, it's good to get a win.
2006, that was the famous Brucey, wasn't it?
Yeah, Harewood last minute and Alan Pardew and Arsene Wenger going at it on the touchline. But yeah, it wasn't quite like that on Saturday, but no, West Ham deserved it. Everyone played well, can't fault any of the players. But, I mean, you must be disappointed from Arsenal's perspective, with not only the result but the performance as well.
Absolutely, it's shocking to be honest. I just, for starters, I can't believe that Torreira wasn't playing.
Yeah, I was shocked by that. When I got to Marseille and the lineups were announced, I'm just amazed where he won't start. He's got to start every game, I think.
Absolutely, especially against West Ham. It's just ridiculous, to be honest, that he wouldn't start. And it just goes to show that at the moment Arsenal are weak. You know, we had a good start to the season, but you know we were flat against West Ham. You know, there was no creativity whatsoever. Okay, we had a few good opportunities. Lacazette at the beginning. Guendouzi had a good shot, which I think at one point the Arsenal fans thought it went in.
Yeah. And Iwobi had one in the second half, but there were just more half chances, Ryan. No clear-cut chances really throughout. And as you say, creativity was lacking, apart from when Torreira and Ramsey in particular come on. Arsenal looked more threatening, but before that, it was all West Ham in the ascendancies, you have to say.
Absolutely. And you can see where Arsenal's concerned defensively, that's where we are just weak. You know, and I think it goes back to when we started the video, you know, Unai Emery, should he adjust his tactics? Yes, he should, to be honest. And where should he adjust his tactics? At the back. I mean, he's very big on this whole pass back to Leno, the pass to the defence. And apart from maybe Leno, let's face it, he's not very good with his feet, but Leno's quite confident. No, it just doesn't work back through all the time, and they're not. You know, you can see they're very timid when they're passed the ball, and attacking teams like West Ham, they prey on that. You know what I mean? They will see that weakness, and I think in terms of the tactics now, it's becoming predictable. And I think that does work. I quite like the pass-back scenario because then they kind of keep control. But you have to adjust against who you're playing. Yeah. And he has been known to adjust his tactics in terms of formations and taking egos off and this, that and the other. Absolutely. Yeah. But why not in the first half? You know, he's very sort of fixated. He's very structured, and this is how we do it. And that's probably why all season, pretty much, we've been shit in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right with the tactics. It was quite predictable, as you say. Whenever Leno had it, or the back three of Koscielny, Socrates, and
Mustafi,
and Koscielny, right? Whoever them three had the ball, West Ham just closed them down because they're not very comfortable on the ball. I mean, Rob Holding, he's a big miss because he's comfortable on the ball, but them three, they don't know what to do. They can't pass the ball quick enough. They can't pass it to the midfielders quick enough. So it was just West Ham were just pressing from the front. And it was quite easy from that side of things, and that's why West Ham, especially in the first half, had a number of chances. And even in the first period of the second half, when Arsenal are pretty strong under Emery, I don't think in the first 15 minutes of the second half, I don't think Arsenal touched the ball. West Ham just dominated, and that's when they got the goal.
Exactly, and I think it's very evident at the moment that Emery's he hasn't got confidence in a starting 11. You know, part of it's not his fault because of some injuries and etc. But at the end of the day, I mean, why don't you play Torreira like we just said? And Ozil, the highest paid player for Arsenal, not even on the bench. Yeah. You know, I know there's probably some underlying issues there going on that we don't know about. And there's talks about he might get sold and this to recoup some costs.
But they missed his creativity in the first half. No forward passes really. I mean, you got a midfield two of Guendouzi and Xhaka. I mean, they're very anonymous, both of them. They were just overran by Mark Noble, Declan Rice, and Samir Nasri when he dropped in to help them two out. So hardly passed the ball forward. I mean, Lacazette and Aubameyang, they hardly had anything. They had scraps to feed off. They need service because they're not going to win any headers, so they need balls played into them. They hardly touched it. I'd love to see their heat map, their touch map, because it'd probably take a few kickoffs, and that was all they did really. I mean, they had a couple half chances each, but in terms of clear-cut chances, there's barely any.
But yeah, I think it was a mixture of Arsenal played poor, but West Ham also deserved it, you know. And I just want to say, before I mention about your team, West Ham, I just want to say that, you know, I'm not delusional though. Do you know what I mean? I still think Arsenal should, you know, support Emery still. You know, I'm now hearing mixed bit on social media and everything like that. You know, he should go. He's like a reincarnation of Wenger and this, that, and the other. It's like, hang on. You know, he needs time. You know, he needs another transfer window, and he's still finding his feet at the end of the day. And you can't argue that he has definitely uplifted Arsenal. And 22 games unbeaten. Okay, you could argue that some of the teams were easy wins, but he still had momentum, and those sort of teams we would have lost against last season.
No, but the Tottenham home game, 4-2, that was a good result.
That was Liverpool as well.
That was in that period, and the draw, as you say, against Arsenal. Draw against Liverpool, rather.
So it was one of those where, we are starting to see some of his cracks now, but
in that case then, Ryan, you said he needs to adapt. How does he do it?
I think the main thing is defensively. And he's got to adapt against who he's playing in the first half. I think, as we mentioned, he's very predictable. I think we know exactly what he's going to do. It's all pass back. They need to press at the front. They need some way of being able to get out more, where it's very much come get me. You know, and that's just not working at the moment. They're not. Some teams, if you're playing Huddersfield or you're playing Cardiff and this, that, and the other, it works perfectly. You know, they can literally sort of take control of the game. But when you're playing the big boys, and that's no disrespect to the other teams, but when you are playing West Ham, but when you are playing Liverpool,
especially away from home,
you know, it's predictable. They know exactly what they're going to do, and they're going to go straight for the defence, and Arsenal are going to crumble, and they're going to hope that they can get a goal. And at the moment, that's probably why there's been some cracks with Arsenal, because the teams now get it. Emery had that unbeaten run, it was new, it was kind of like, wow, Arsenal have got momentum.
Yeah.
But now I think all the teams have studied what they're doing, and it's, yes, Emery probably does adapt eventually in the game, but you need to be tactical before the game. You know, we're playing Man United, we're playing whatever. You know, perhaps we need to play four at the back, and but that's my view on it. I mean, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think a back three works in certain games, but on Saturday it clearly didn't work. He changed it to a 4 eventually in the second half, but as we mentioned earlier, those three centre-halves are not comfortable on the ball. Rob Holding is, but he's injured at the moment. So do you need to play them three at the moment? I don't think you do. And even when they do have the ball, they pass too slowly. You know, by the time it goes from one defender to the other, they're all surrounded by West Ham players. They were, so they have to pass into midfield quicker. They couldn't really do that on Saturday because Xhaka and Guendouzi were surrounded by West Ham's midfield. So, and they haven't really got a focal point up front because Aubameyang and Lacazette are not going to win any headers against Diop and Ogbonna, and they didn't. So, I mean, if Olivier Giroud was still at the club, he would have been an asset on Saturday, but obviously he's not at the club anymore. So they haven't got another option like that, have they? So it's difficult. Maybe they need to get the ball out wide a lot more, but just pass the ball quicker and pass it forwards more. I mean, I think Torreira as well as his tackling, I think he likes to get the ball from the defenders and he plays good passing. Guendouzi generally does. He didn't on Saturday. So yeah, I think a combination of confidence and injuries hasn't helped Emery, but yeah, he has to adapt against certain teams for sure.
No, I completely agree.
But it's going to be hard in this window, Ryan, because Arsenal apparently can only get loan players.
And I find that hard to believe. It's. I think it's not just, we can't just look at Emery. The unfortunate thing at the moment, especially with our generation of football, it's so easy to point the finger at the manager. But let's be honest, since since Kroenke's come in as the owner, we've won nothing. I mean, the FA Cups and whatnot. He's put no money into Arsenal whatsoever. No money into Arsenal. Does he even know when Arsenal are playing? It's just a business venture for him. And now he's the majority. He owns the full club now. It's just I can't see, unless he puts invest money into the club. It's going to be a struggle. It really is going to be a struggle, and you can't necessarily point any fingers at Emery for that, because let's face it, if he's not been given the funds to go out and invest and buy players, what can he do? But I think we can see he's a good coach.
Yeah, I think he's getting the maximum out of the squad he's got, but the squad's not good enough, is it, to win the league? Nowhere near that. It's going to be a struggle for them to get in the top 4 even now. So I think where they are 5th at the moment, I think that's about right for where they are in terms of the personnel that they've got in the squad. Definitely needs investing. Probably won't get any in this window, but in the summer they need investment. They need to get rid of players as well, especially the ones on big money.
Yeah, it's just not managed properly from a financial point of view, and that's the problem. And Arsenal are one of the richest clubs in the world. Why can we only have loan players? But if you want to compete with the big boys, you've got to invest. Leicester City's manager, God rest his soul, he invested 200 million of his own money to the team, and look what that did for him.
Yeah, but they bought the right players. They didn't spend a huge amount. I mean, Morris cost £500,000, for example. Kante cost less than 10 million. So it's not always about spending the money. You've got to buy the right players.
But it's having money at the same time and being smart with that.
Yeah.
But enough about Arsenal. As much as I could talk about Arsenal all day, I've got to say about West Ham though. Even forget the result as well. They're looking very good under Pellegrini now. Looking very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the players have really adapted to his philosophy. It's been a marked improvement from the first 4 games in particular, where we lost all 4. And we've got players that are injured as well. I mean, Yarmolenko's out for the majority of the season. Lanzini's hardly played at all. Jack Wilshere's hardly played.
I forgot about Wilshere.
And Marko Arnautovic hasn't been available for every game as well. He's been carrying injuries. So we've done amazingly well to get where we are in the top half. And I think if we continue the way we are, get some injured players back, then I think the top half's definitely minimum. And we could easily finish 7th. The way we're going, it's between us, Leicester, Wolves and Watford really for that 7th spot.
I think you've got a very good chance. I think you predicted 7th or 8th, didn't you, in our season preview? But I think even if you finish 10th, I think that's a very good season.
Oh yeah, it's a great platform for next season with more investment and certainly got players we can easily get rid of as well.
Yeah, and let's face it, David Moyes last season, he did a job. He did what he was paid to do. He kept you up, and for maximum, I think it definitely boosted his credibility again.
Hats off to him. He did the job, but he wasn't the man long term. And Pellegrini's proved that this season.
Yeah, you don't want to park the bus every 5 minutes. You want to have entertaining football.
Yeah.
You as a season ticket holder, you must be enjoying the game.
Yeah, very absolutely. Yeah, I mean, as you say, if we played that game on Saturday with Moyes in charge, we probably would have had 10 behind the ball and just trying to grind out a win. But from the very first whistle, West Ham just went for it. And even when we got the goal in the second half, on the counter-attack, it looked a threat and could have easily scored more goals. And we had a chance in the first half as well to lead at half-time. So our attacking players are in great form. Nautovic wasn't his best game, but he tried hard despite the transfer speculation. Felipe Anderson's been amazing. Declan Rice is always incredible in midfield. He got his first goal, thoroughly deserved. Mark Noble's decent as well. So, yeah, and Samir Nasri as well, ex-Arsenal player.
Played very well, didn't he? Great link-up play. And
yeah, I mean, I know he's been training with the club for about a month or so, but even so, I've been so impressed with his 2 games he's played. I mean, he played in the FA Cup last week against Birmingham, done very well, played an hour, and on Saturday against Arsenal he was even better. He played for about 66 minutes. And even though he's been training, you know, with the players, to have the combination plays, 1-2s with like Anderson and Arnautovic immediately is such a good sign. And it's a free transfer as well. He probably gets paid a bit of money per week, but what a bargain he's been so far. And if we can carry it on to the rest of the season, then we'll have a great player on our hands. And
he's a quality player. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, and hasn't lost any of his ability, I have to say.
Great composure. You know, he doesn't ever look nervous, does he? He's a great fit for West Ham. You know, and he you know, he works well with Pellegrini, let's face it.
Yeah,
so
that's really helped. I mean, the sign of a real top player is when they have time on the ball. There was a couple of times where he laid off some chances for other players, and it looked like he had load of time and space to make decisions. Like he laid off a ball for Anderson in the first half, which just went wide, and he set up the goal for Rice as well. He was in the box, surrounded by defenders, nice little layoff, so Rice can run onto it first time and take a shot, which went in the top corner. So, yeah, I mean, fitness is the only issue at the moment, but all in good time. But considering he hasn't played for well over a year, I've been mega impressed by him, I have to say. And it wasn't even the passing and his composure in the ball, it's his tracking back as well, which he's not really known for, but he was closing down Arsenal's defenders and he was getting in to help out Noble and Rice in midfield as well before he got took off. So, yeah, really impressed by him. And, as I say...
Good result for West Ham.
Yeah, you played very well and a great result for West Ham. Onwards and upwards for us.
Absolutely. So, we spoke about West Ham and Arsenal. I think the other game to talk about really is Tottenham Man United.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on the game?
Good game, I thought. Again, it was only a 1-0 scoreline, but a very good game. That game sort of reminded me, as well as others this season, like between Man City and Liverpool, where the top clubs they're playing proper games now. Like last few seasons, it's been like basketball matches end to end, whereas the games between the top sides have been sort of how they were in the mid-2000s, where they were high quality, but you didn't know what the result was going to be, and defences played well as well.
Quite tense, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You never know what was going to happen next. So, yeah, it was a good game. I mean, I'm amazed there weren't more goals, because Man United had chances, especially in the first half, where they, you have to say, were on top, and in the second half, Tottenham had a great number of chances, but David De Gea was a brick wall in goal, wasn't
he? He was superb. Absolutely superb. And yeah, at the end of the day, Man United won 1-0, and the thing is, this was a great test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, he'd won 5 games in a row before. You could argue Newcastle was a bit of a test for him because it wasn't going to be an easy result. But let's face it, this was a good example to see Man United versus the big boys, and it kills me to say Tottenham are big boys, but they are. And at the end of the day, you know, it's not just winning the game, it's how you win the game. And yeah, I mean, I don't think, let's be honest, I personally don't think people should get too carried away by thinking at this stage, you know, he's definitely the man.
Yeah. Because
in the grand scheme of things, it's only 6 games. Yeah. But to win 6 in a row and to win like that with so much enthusiasm, and it was just they were powerful. You know, that's the Man United
of old.
And you could argue, well, Solskjaer, okay, I know he didn't really have the luck when he was at Cardiff or anything like that, but he knows the Man United way. You know, he knows the essence of the club. He loves the club. He's probably had a bit of help from Alex Ferguson recently, secretly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think he went to one of the training sessions. So, if you ask me, I think he's delivered so far. He's done incredible, and you know, it's not just free play, is it? It's like you say. I think against Tottenham, he's made some tactical changes, and is he the man to go forward time will tell. I still think there's more games as the Champions League games that will kind of sort of prove his worth, if you like, long term.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with some quotes by. I'll let you talk about it in a minute. Some I think it was Paul Ince, wasn't it? Really. Yeah. I don't agree with that, saying that anyone could have won 6 in a row. I think you still have to win the dressing room, and that's but I do agree at the same time. It wasn't hard for Man United to get momentum again, because let's face it, if you look at their squad, yeah, they're a good team. But Jose Mourinho had lost the dressing room.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd lost the dressing room. And there was a fantastic documentary that I watched recently about Alex Ferguson, about his managerial style. And they apply it to business and this, that and the other. And he drew this little line on a whiteboard. And it had love, that side. And to the other end, it had fear. And they were asked, students and whatnot, where do you think Alex Ferguson fit in terms of style? Did he want to be loved as a manager to get results, or did he want to be a bit of a bully, and be feared?
Yeah.
Alex Ferguson said, I see myself in the middle, respect. I thought that was a good answer. Whereas I think Jose Mourinho, though, was probably more towards the fear. He probably wanted to, you work for me, and it just doesn't work in this day and age. So I think once he'd gone, I think it was evident that Pogba and people wanted him out. Once he'd gone, I do kind of agree. They could have got results, especially the teams they were playing. But it's still 6 games in a row. And when you see them play a team like Tottenham, you've got to give credit to Solskjaer. I mean, what's your thoughts on Solskjaer, how he's doing so far, and if he's the one to take Man United forward?
Yeah, I mean, he makes some great points there. Hard to disagree with any of them, to be honest. I think, Solskjaer, I think he's playing himself into contention with this result in particular. I mean, no disrespect to the other teams, but if you're playing Bournemouth at home, Huddersfield at home, Reading in the Cup at home, Cardiff away, no matter who's in charge of Man United, the squad they've got, especially in the forward areas, the strength in depth, they should win all those games, really. So I don't think they were the real test. The real test was against Tottenham, away against an outsider, you could say, for the Premier League itself. So a great result, but some tactical tweaks, as you say. Like, he could have easily played Lukaku from the start. He didn't, kept him on the bench, and opted for a pacey front line of Lingard, Rashford and Martial. Rashford got the goal, but they exposed Tottenham's space from out wide because Trippier and Davis both like to get forwards. And that's what happened when the goal was scored by Rashford. I mean, great finish, but before that, Pogba, great ball by him. And as you say, he's been amazing under Solskjaer. He's been a real difference to how Man United have played. If you get him playing, he's a top-class player on his day. There's no coincidence he's been playing well. The team have been playing well. He's been getting the best out of him. Playing him slightly forward than Jose did. He's had Matic and Herrera sitting, and Pogba just off Lingard, really, with Rashford and Martial out wide. If Pogba had that ball in midfield after it was given away by Trippier, would he have passed forward under Mourinho? Probably not. Or he might have passed sideways or backwards. Or might have even had the chance to play the ball, it might have been on the bench. So already that's a big difference. But what a ball it was for Rashford. Rashford could easily just run onto it. And him against Vertonghen. Vertonghen's no slouch, but Rashford is quicker than him. And even though the ball was out wide, again, Rashford, another one playing with real confidence. A few weeks ago, he might have just waited for one of his teammates to come, or might have ran out wide. He got the ball and shot instantly. Great finish against another top keeper in Lloris. But whenever United had the ball, they played it forward with real purpose and speed. That's what you associate with Man United on the counter attack. And the thing about Solskjaer, he's just added pace to the team. He's playing Rashford from the start. He's got Lukaku on the bench. He's not playing Fellaini. He's not playing Mata, even though he's a good player. Because they all seemed... I mean, Gary Neville mentioned this in commentary during the game. They all sort of slow down the play. And the fullbacks, like Shaw and Young, are getting high and wide and getting crosses in now. So, whereas they're told to sort of stay on the halfway line, really, under Mourinho.
So Bill, with everything considered, is Ollie the man?
He's played himself into contention after yesterday's result. Going away to a top 6 rival and winning in the manner they did, I think positive signs for him. It's still early days. He's only had 6 games. Yes, he's won all of them, but you know the test is going to come for him against Man City, Guardiola, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, PSG in the Champions League. So there's still big tests for him and hurdles for him to overcome. But if he can pass through those, then you have to say he'll be the front runner. I think Pochettino is still the favourite at the moment, but football can change in a matter of weeks, can't it? So I think he's doing all the right things at the moment, and these tactical changes were very good in the game against Spurs. It wasn't just start 10 players all to attack. They showed some real discipline as well, and they had good shape as well. The players went all over the place. They made it hard for Tottenham at times. And yep, Tottenham did create some chances, but when you got a world-class keeper in David De Gea, then he helps you out. But even like players like Victor Lindelof, he's looking a lot more composed. But whether Solskjaer will make any signings in January, we don't know. But I think he's doing a real good job so far.
Exactly. I think, like I said earlier, you know, he knows the Man United way. He's probably had a bit of advice from Ferguson recently.
Yeah.
So why not? I think, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I said earlier, I think it's not the hardest time to build momentum for United. Obviously, like I said, Mourinho lost the dressing room. With the sort of calibre of the team they've got, they should be able to win those games. But 6 in a row, and to beat Tottenham the way they did, and, you know, knowing the Man United way, I think he could be a very good candidate. But we'll have to see what happens at the end of the season. I'll be very excited to sit for it when we do our end of season review.
Yeah,
no doubt we'll be talking about Solskjaer.
Yeah, one way or another.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Well, thanks again, people. You know what to do. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter. We're at garage_football.
Thank you.
Thank you.